Hi guys, Luton here. Welcome back for another full round breakdown. Now, I do these occasionally. For those of you that don't know, I take a complete round breakdown from gameplay and I go through, analyze, look at things, thought processes, and I look at the failure and the success. That's always the important thing. These rounds can be a win, a loss, it doesn't matter. It's about looking at the gameplay, analysing what happened, what went wrong. Now, someone recently said to me about looking at the gameplay and things, and I was thinking about this actually this morning whilst I was going to work. I was thinking that, you know, when people point out with hindsight things from gameplay that I've posted up and they're like, oh Luton, you should have seen this guy or you should have done this here. The thing is, when you look back at gameplay, it's funny how you notice things that you didn't notice at the time, and a lot of the time it's because you have a lot of other things going on, you're talking to people in the game, and so your awareness is completely different to when you're sitting calmly at a computer just watching it back. But that is good. It's a good thing that you have that difference of awareness, and this is something that used to happen when I played World of Warcraft, and I used to play that competitively with the guys, and often people, now look at this straight up, as soon as we came in the game I was like, guys, they're coming over on the right, they're coming to A, they're coming to A, they're coming to A, look, all my guys on my team went to B here, and I've got my LMG covering it down here. I wanted to put some fire in on this guy here. No point me running straight over there against like 4 or 5 guys solo. We're trying to suppress, you know, keep these guys locked down here. My bipod is screwed up, so I couldn't get down on windows there in the distance. So we're moving in. I heard some fire in here, so I was coming in to mow this guy down. But look at this, they've ran over. Now this is what can we take from this? Well, we can take from this the fact that they moved up so fast, the speed of momentum. Now momentum, as we've talked about many times before, is so critically important in the game, okay? If you have momentum in a game, you have game. It's really a big deal. They pushed up so fast as a squad, full-on team. Now, if we had maybe 2 or 3 players, now you know, my mistake there, as much as anybody else's, look how fast we got run over. We got steamrolled there, and we really should have been able to put up a little bit more of a fight there. You know, I went straight onto those rocks because those rocks can be, as we've seen on other videos that I've done, they can be useful to actually cover a wide area. It allows me to cover the left, the right, etc. And, you know, provided you don't have too many people screwing around sniping, which, let's be fair, you often do at the beginning of that round there. But overall, it can be a good position to take. However, I can't predict at that early stage what the rest of my team is going to do, and so it's difficult for me to predict. So I went to where I thought was going to be a good place to be, but I didn't have any backup on my right hand side there on A. The whole team went to the left to B, so we left it open. If we had maybe 1 or 2 other players there, yeah, we would have been sort of in the mix and it would have all been good. What I was doing here was I was clearing boxes out so I can see clear through. Now I've set up here on the right hand side. This right hand side is a great position to take for bipod LMG. Now you have to watch out obviously for snipers, so you're looking for, well, we're down on players here, it's only 8 to 9. I'm looking for tiny movement, because if you get a small fraction of a movement like that was quite a big movement, but sometimes you're talking as small as a pinhead, you need to be looking for that, because it can be a sniper or whatever, and if somebody comes through, they can pick you off, so you need to watch out for that. Now, I can lock down this area with myself and maybe 1 or 2 other people, but you can't do it solo, because often, as we see, you just get the sheer weight of numbers and you cannot deal with it. Now, I posted this up recently actually. This was actually the suppression video that I posted up for Battlefield 4, and I was talking about how the bipod LMG can be used to good effect, and we see right here sort of people coming in, what, you know, this kind of, the bipod LMG is so good for defending, because look at this, I can just drop the rounds, you're just burning through. And a couple of people pointed out about, like, they were saying, oh well, you know, snipers in Battlefield 4 will suppress as well. This is entirely true. However, the advantage with the support, and why the support is focused more heavily, is because the sheer weight of ammo that you can drop down. In the space that a sniper will drop 1 round, the bipod LMG right here, you're going to be dropping like 20, 50 rounds, whatever. You know, you're putting a bulk of rounds in there, sort of, look, yeah, you know, you're really powering it into them. Now, this base on Metro should be a surefire win. It's super easy to defend, okay? All you have is this right corridor, the left corridor, and that's it basically. So a few players should be able to do this, but the trouble is it requires discipline, and that's something that people rarely have in game. They get bored. If things are a little bit quiet, they sort of start looking for kills. They don't just sit still and let them come to you. When I'm defending, generally will sort of put myself in a position where the enemy will come. I'll just wait, you know, they're going to come, they've got to get this objective, we can just wait for them. You don't need to go hunting for the enemy all the time, you can just wait, they'll come to you, because, you know, they've got to get here, that's what they're doing in the game. And you've got to remember as well that if you feel frustrated because you haven't got any enemies to shoot at, they're frustrated because they don't either. And so if you just sit and bide your time, it's, you know, I mean, look at this right here, sort of getting on targets, they're coming in. The trouble that I have is that I need someone to kind of just back me up. Oh, thanks for that med pack there. You need someone to back you up a little bit, so that if I'm constantly readjusting my position a little bit, because I had people coming in there with like RPGs, etc. I needed to reload as well, so I had to get out of there because of the fire. They were getting a little bit hot. Obviously I've mown down quite a few of them there, so I needed to kind of reposition myself. Trouble is, it's going to be difficult for me to get back in, so I'm moving up here for a bit of a kamikaze. You're going to clear these guys, but it falls back on me and I go down. But that's the only trouble, is you can draw a bit of attention to yourself. If you're somewhere like that in the open, they realise it's a threat. But this is good, because like I've said in other videos, I like it in game when I see that an enemy adapt to a situation and they don't just keep making the same mistakes. So for example, if they prioritise that I'm a danger and I'm a threat, and then they start sort of trying to deal with me, now again, like, see, look at this, they've got enough people now pushed forward here to lock this down, they've got people through into A, they've got that secured, and our team have not responded in terms of pushing to that point to kind of get involved there. So they have really sort of taken control. Now look at these guys, they're flanking. Who's at B? Who's at B? No one. We've all pulled back to A. This is another thing that happens so often, and this whole base is lost right now, just because of that little push. Now, I'm not going to say that, you know, I was the only person holding the line, because it's not. There was other players doing different things. But the fact that I went down meant that they didn't have to deal with that weight of suppressing fire, and in doing... Oh, and I've called full victim to the shotgun right there. In doing so, they didn't have to deal with that suppression and the sort of heavy weight of fire from the LMG. It meant that they could move through that area more easily. Doesn't mean to say that our guys didn't take any of them out, just meant that they had an easier time moving forward. And now look at them, they're all over the place here. We're having a real hard time sort of just getting anywhere. Managed to get the defuse on B though, so that was a good job on my team. But now we're in a situation where we have to take back the base, and I was saying this at the time. Okay, when you secure one base like this in a rush game, it can be any map, alright, doesn't matter if it's just this one. You have to secure the entire base. You can't just stay near that one encom, and that's why I'm kind of moving back this area. I want to make sure, and see, look, this is the point, they're still over here. I didn't look for that guy on the left or wherever he was, and we've still got these recon guys pushing through here. Now, this right hand side tunnel, we've got to keep control. And you can see there's a couple of blue guys moving down there to sort of where my position was as well. And I was saying to the guys in game, I was like, we've got to get over on that right hand side to the AM com, got to lock that right tunnel down. Very, very often, you can see the two blue guys over here on my right, and very, very often players don't do this. They focus too much on the one encom, and now I've changed up my class obviously because I realised, okay, we're in a completely different situation right here, going with my AK, which is, it's got to be said, probably my favourite assault rifle. I do really favour the AK. Seems to perform well in almost all situations, and I favour it over the M16 or any of those guns. You know, the kind of, I know that the AK sits within the sort of, you know, it's considered to be one of the easier ones, but you've got a few choices there, sort of M416 and stuff, but the AK is my kind of, my go-to gun for sort of when we're in sort of high performance situations. And we've got more players coming in here. I pulled off that target that I initially aimed at because he wasn't facing me, but the guy to my right was facing me, so that's why I switched target there, because if I'd have kept firing at the guy straight in front of me, I'd have just gone down. So I've changed up my class to play a little bit more aggressive here rather than sit back, mainly because I felt that initially I'd held that support line and I was doing okay. I was kind of holding the line there, but I just felt like there was too many gaps in our defence, and that's what really screwed us over. That initial part there was that although I was sort of doing well locking them down, there was too many holes in other areas. I've got one guy on the right. And so this is why I changed my class, so that I can try and perform a little bit better. I'm a little bit more mobile, I can adapt and sort of move to positions where they're required. And you can see right here that I'm having kind of as much effect as I was with the LMG, just playing it in a slightly different style. But the difficulty is again, you start to see there's too many guys here now. you start to see the weaknesses in our defense. People get bored, they start chasing those red triangles, and that's what happened right there. We had guys over here on the left where this guy's right now, and Noz is over here. You can see he's locking down with the bipod LMG as well. But this is another big problem that happens so often, and again, it's just the difficulty of playing public games. Tried to get the res there, but look, we're pinned down, and it's because our guys kind of abandoned this left hand side. Noz was locking it down with the LMG, but you know, our other players kind of pulled off to try and come over where I was to chase those red triangles on the right hand side, and that's the difficulty. When people start chasing the triangles, they leave gaps in your defense, and then that's when the rest of the team slip through. You might think that you're doing a good job by chasing sort of 2 or 3 enemy players, but if you have friendly players over there, they're probably going to deal with them. And it's all about this kind of focus, this push of I've got to be the best, I've got to be the top of the scoreboard. But in doing so, you kind of undermine the strength and validity of your entire team, because if people, I always say one of my best rules for Battlefield, or any FPS game I guess, but for Battlefield particularly, if you look around you and there's more than 2 people standing next to you, there's too many people there. Got to move, alright? And look at this, we're totally overrun here. I'm trying to reload my gun, I can't even reload my gun, there's so many people all over the place. I'm trying to just hold this line here a little bit, but it's just too much, get him 320'd. But that kind of close proximity ruling is a really important one for many situations. For one reason, it stops people coming around the corner and mowing you all down, it stops people getting multiple grenade kills, and so on and so on. So just when you're in game, look around you. If you have more than 2 people in your exact close proximity, move, okay, because if they're there, you don't need to be there. And Conquest, this is particularly relevant. I've said so many times about Conquest, it drives me absolutely ballistic. Like when you move to an empty Conquest base, there's no one there, and there's like 6, 7, 8 guys standing next to you, and it's like, this is 3/4 of our team, why are you here? Move. And it's because, they're trying to rack the points and they feel safe, there's nothing going on there, so they don't want to get involved. But in doing so, you kind of end up sort of completely undermining the entire game in the process. Okay, so these guys moving up here. Now again, this should be an unbelievably easy defense, but look at this. Where is our team? Where are they? I moved straight up to that front line, got taken down a few times with the kind of weight of people coming through there, and what's happening right here is all about momentum. Okay, this is what this situation is right here. It's about momentum. They've knocked us off our feet from that second base. For a little while there, we were kind of holding the line. We were sort of doing a reasonable defense, but now they've knocked us off our feet and just rolled this base. They have got more players than us, but that's not the reason why they're winning. It's because they've got the momentum. They pushed very fast into this base, and you looked from the overhead there, we did just not have enough players on the ground. We don't have that fewer players than them. Okay, so we should be able to contain the situation. The reason we've lost the situation is just simply because of the speed of their attack. They moved from that second to third base so fast that a lot of our guys hadn't respawned back in, and that's why I always say that in Rush, momentum is critically important. It's so important to move fast, because if you're an attacking team and you can move fast, that's the kind of result that you'll get. You'll end up in the base before any of the defenders have really had a chance to get themselves set up. Whereas if you stop, like on another round that I was playing on Oman Rush, okay, you get to the last base or whatever and you stop, that's where it all goes wrong. Now, this is an interesting point, this next section right here. Now, very often what happens is people fall back to the buildings above, alright, so we're talking about those 2 buildings to my left and right behind me, or they fall back to the B line, okay, so behind us, over where the BM-com is, they fall back to the other line. They often will change up to sniper class. Idiots, okay? This is where you want to be, right about here. Because right where you are here, this is a kill zone, alright? Look at them. They've got to come out of 3 doors. Just 3 doors. So if you just have 4 people covering each of these doors, where the hell are they going to go? Nowhere. You can just cut them down. And they have all this open space they've got to cover. They've got no cover, alright? You can just cut them to pieces. I tell you what, the buildings behind me, the only good reason for them would be you could perhaps put someone in those corner windows with a bipod LMG or something along those lines, and they could just cover these doorways from above the road. So you could have maybe 1 guy up there. But basically, I can't see this guy in here, so I'm having a hard time picking him off. But basically, right, you see Noz, he's positioned down there on my left, alright, and I'm kind of controlling this sort of front door here. There's multiple guys in here. but there's a few guys around me got this doorway covered, and you can see as well another guy in my squad down there on the right. He's got the right hand corridor covered, but they all just got taken down. Now, if you can hold this line right here, you can win this base easy. All right, it's super easy. I move over here now because I've noticed a few of them dropping down, and here we go, clearing them out at the same time. Look at this, we got like 4 or 5 guys over here, and things do start to get out of control for us for a little while. See Game Reaper there, he's moving up. Yeah, name dropping you there, Game Reaper. He's moving up, he's going fast over towards the sort of BM-com, push through. That's often how this base goes down, it's often how I like to play it as well. See where they're coming up on the right here by the chemist, and they go down onto the road there, push through into B. But you can see what I mean, a lot of our team are pushed up much further this way than in many kind of rush games that you'll see in this kind of situation. And as I say, really what you want to be doing is pushing forward. Don't sit back on this last base. On the second base I was saying you can just kind of wait there and they will come to you. That's totally true. But on each base you have to judge it on its own merit. This last area is too big for us to kind of sit back. We need to push up to those doorways. Now a lot of guys have pulled off that front line going back to A, but I was shouting at people, I was like, get forward, get back to those doorways. That's where we need to control, move forward back in. And because look, see, you see how the kind of situation is going right now, that we're losing control. All right, that's really what's happening. Now the other thing that's really important is that if you're on this sort of BM-com, if you do get pushed back to this last BM-com, I was going to say this on another video a while ago and didn't. If you get pushed back to that BM-com, don't sit behind the M-com, move up to this area, because you need to control them getting down into that highway. Now you can see, look, we're moving straight back up to the gates again, clearing buildings as we go. The guys are clearing. Now I'm running through here because I want to check this building is clear. I don't just want to run to the doorway, I want to make sure there's no recon points, so I'm listening for that. I'm also checking there's just no one up here, there's no traps. That's clear, so now I know I can focus on this area without worrying people coming behind me, or so on and so on. And here we go, first guy coming in for me, first customer. Now, with just 1 or 2 people, I've got someone behind me here, we can fairly control this position. I managed to take that guy right there. And I'm just going to kind of adjust my position slightly. Something that I always used to call mobile camping, where you kind of just move from one position to another, so that when the same guy comes back, he's looking for you. You're in a slightly different place, but still the same. It means that you always have the advantage. So again, this guy coming here, head glitching. Now you see how I have such a strong advantage. And that's really the deal right here, is that these guys, they're coming out of here, and look at this, it's so easy for me to just pick them off. Alright, we're trying to deal with all these guys coming in right here. He's hiding. Do I get him? Yes. I've got more people coming in on me. Not sure where the hell that guy is. One coming up from behind right here. Diving all over. He's down. So the rest of my team as well I'm communicating with. I'm just kind of generally listening. Noz is keeping me informed as to what's happening in other sections, and we're just trying to control these doorways again. Look at the ticket count. We've hurt them harder in this area than we've hurt them anywhere else at this point. So this really is the make or break. But if we pull back to the kind of B area, it's too big of an area to control. There's too many places where they can dig in. It's just too difficult for you, and that's really the problem. So these doorways are the key if you can control it. Got my shotgun going on here after I ran out of ammo with the other thing, but it's not enough. So the reason I posted this, because Metro gameplay is kind of done to death, and I often get frustrated with myself because I'm kind of like, that was a good gameplay, but it's Metro and I don't really want to post Metro. By the way, look how much C4 is on our BM car. Nobody's getting that. Yeah, this kind of line, this is often where people start to hold the line. Like, as soon as this base goes, like as soon as you're here, they just stay there. Idiots. Seriously. If you have like 4 or 5 people just stay back there at the beginning of this section, that's it. They'll lose you the whole game. Just damn stupid thing to do. But if you, as I say, move up, control this area, control this street. It's easy, alright? Theoretically, if you have just like, I don't know, 4 or 5 good players, this should be no trouble to control, because really, like I say, it's just a section of a few doorways and stuff. It's no big deal, and there's so many good positions you can take to cover things, like in here. Okay, massive advantage in this, bus here. They're not going to see you coming out that door or over there like these guys are. You can just continue to cut them down, and plus I have the advantage of having, like, a great sort of metal vehicle, so that if need be I can just crouch down, I can take cover. They're not going to be able to fire through that again. Now the only thing is now that they're starting to get up in this building. They've broken through on the left here because a few of our guys got taken down kind of multiple times. And they're taking control of this left section here, which is not perfect for us. But look how we've bled their tickets down. Down on 16, 15. I saw some smoke and players dropping down here, so I was calling this out. Here goes one guy for the objective. No, he's not going anywhere. We've got a few guys on him. I'm calling one guy out at the M5K. Look at this, they're making a big push for it. 3-4. And that's because we lost control of that left doorway. Up at the metro station, you notice there was a lot of reses going on up there, and deaths on that kind of left side, and you can see we've kind of started to lose control of the map now. But often that does happen in the last kind of 20 tickets because you know, again, your enemy attacking team, they can often be a little bit careful themselves at first, especially if they've had such a strong game as the game that we were having. You know, they were really dominating us through the whole round, and that can often be a bad thing as well because people get complacent, you know. They have such easy bases where they walk over you that they think, oh, this team is, they've got nothing. They got nothing. There's no way that they can come back from this. So they get a little bit complacent. They're a bit like cocky. So they often will think, hey, you know, okay, we're going to farm some kills for a little bit. We're going to hurt them a little bit, and then we'll go for the objective. Big mistake. Never underestimate your enemy. Even if you've had multiple easy rounds, don't underestimate your enemy because you don't know what they got up their sleeve, and that shows in this round here what can happen. You know, a couple of bases don't make a game, and you need to wait right till the end, you know, to see what is it he says. Yeah, with a prize fighter, you wait till the match is over and then you see who wins. But you know, I think this is a good round. This is a good illustration from multiple points. It shows that how defenders can turn it around. It shows how attackers can underestimate their enemy, and it shows that by pushing to the correct points in a map, you can make the difference between losing and controlling a certain area. And this metro is a great example of that. Fall back to B, you're going to lose. Push up to the metro, you can hold the line. Thanks for watching today, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. More round breakdowns coming up very soon. If you enjoyed, drop it a rate and a share. Always helps me out. See you next time, guys.